Hello, Star Citizens, and welcome to the Red Festival 2955. I just like how that sounds. We are going to, of course, go over what's available for the Red Festival. We are also going to go over all the ships that they made for sale, which there's some good ones and there's some weird ones, and then we'll politely skip over the misfortune, but we'll talk about it a little bit. Just because it's the new hotness, and we'll see how many people end up with one. Actually, quite different from the vulture, so we'll see what it's got going on for it. But yeah, as always, make sure you like and subscribe to qualify for our prize. We are probably just gonna give away the misfortune this year, or this month. So make sure you like, leave a comment, and make sure you're subscribed so that you can win that. We are going to give away, as I said, a Perseus. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow. I planned on doing it today, but the Red Festival didn't come until very late at night. So, so we'll be giving away the RSI Perseus tomorrow. So that will be January 29th. But yeah, let's just get into it. Red Festival. So it is the year of the pig. And that also means they'll be doing the snake. So the snake is in lore, the pig is the animal, but outside of lore, the snake is the real animal. So as always, Red Festival is a beloved celebration observed throughout the UEE and Banu Protectorate to mark the beginning of a new lunisolar year. Participants wear traditionally lucky colors such as red and gold, share stories to honor friends and family, and eat long foods like dyed red noodles and kalask tentacles, which apparently is an acquired taste. So, as always, they do a referral. If you want to use our code, which should be up at the top or down at the bottom, I don't know where I'm gonna put it. Yeah, that helps out the channel. Every time I get a ship like that, I can melt one of my ships, restart it on a CCU chain, and then I can give away another ship. As always, that's completely optional. If anybody feels like doing it, just use the code. Make sure you start a new account with it, and make sure that you spend at least $45, and you will get one, and then I will get one, and then of course we can do more giveaways. We're already doing multiple giveaways. We're gonna give away a ship on Twitch. We're gonna give away a vehicle on YouTube, and of course we're going to give away that fortune that I just mentioned earlier. So we're always doing giveaways around here. I'm supposed to slow down on the giveaways because I'm giving away this Perseus, and it's gonna cost a little bit of money, but yeah, I like doing them too much. So anyway, if anybody wants to do that, code's up top or at the bottom. There's a free fly, so you know what that means. Stay out of the servers. No, free fly means it's a good time to get your friends into the game, have them come check it out. Make sure it's stable first, of course. I don't know if 4.0.1 is stable. It is live, if you were wondering. It did just go live. I'm downloading it right now. It might have just finished. Yeah, so looks like they can fly the Nomad, the Connie Taurus, the Carrack, the Cutter, and the Cuddy Black. So there you have it. Those are the ships available. That's a nice little range. They could step up from the Nomad to the Cuddy to the from the Cutter to the Nomad to the Cutlass to the Taurus, and then to the Carrack. Arena Commander Takeover. Try your luck and your opponents in Arena Commander Kill Collector mode. If you place first, you'll earn a new Spectrum badge to add to your collection. And of course, there's the Red Pig Envelope. Fortunate finds. Be on the lookout for red envelopes hidden throughout standing. If you're lucky enough to find some, exchange them for credits and even receive your own 2955 Year of the Pig envelope, a symbol of good fortune. I haven't done any of these, but I feel like they'll come around all the time. So I know I can't get the 2955 one again, but I feel like I'll have time to do that. So if I find some along the way, it'll be great. But if I don't, community contest, pay it forward this Red Festival and show us your acts of kindness to win a prize. Multiple entries are allowed, as after all, you can never have too much kindness. What I would like to do is actually go in game and do something with one of my giveaways, but I still have to figure out what that's going to be. I don't know, because it's not like I can like give away the ship in game. So I think I'm gonna do something where I give away a skin or something in game and record it. We'll see. We'll see. This is all if I have enough time. I'm starting two new YouTube channels. Oh, by the way, I figured out the names for them. They're not great names, but they keep me in the Billionaire brand. So this is Billionaire Ninjas. One is going to be Billionaire Carbon, and one is going to be Billionaire Burner. Those are the other two channels. They don't have any videos yet, but I'll go and put some videos on there, and then I'll share them with you guys. If you didn't know, I am starting two new YouTube channels. One that's more general gaming, and then one that's like retro and Nintendo. The Burner one will be retro and Nintendo, and the Carbon one will be more general gaming, and that one's a little bit more for a mature audience, where the retro and Nintendo one is more for like family friendly. Like this one, like our Star Citizen channel. We're family friendly here. Anyway, moving on. Misfortune. So it's out. It's slightly different than the Vulture. It only has the one scraper. So the Vulture has two, but it also puts the cargo directly out back, meaning you don't have to get out of your seat as much. That's kind of the thing. You get the Misfortune if you prefer Misk to the Drake look, and you get it if you want the more ease of loading it up during your scraping. I'm surprised, actually. I really thought it would be a two-person. That would have made a little bit more sense to me, but to me, it looked like it was an onboarding task. If I had to guess, an onboarding task for a new designer or something, like, hey, take this vehicle and change it around, and you know, that'll be you learning how all the ship mechanics work, and now you can work on bigger projects after you do that. So yeah, that's what I think it was, and I think that's why we got it. So there's no problem with having multiple manufacturers at the same level. It's good to do that. I hope that there's more gap fills coming in rather than getting two of the same type of ship, but you know, it is what it is. But we'll get to the price in a little bit. Let's look at these packs. So the Red Festival ship packs, you know what we say, unless you're getting LTI with it, it's really probably not the best thing to do. They have a cutter, they have a Cutlass Red Festival starter, a Red Festival industrial ship. This one, it looks like it comes with 4. And does it come with LTI? Because it does have the Fortune in there. This one comes with LTI. Okay. So folks, we generally tell people not to buy packs. If you are looking for a prospector and you're looking for a Fortune, and you know that you're going to use both of those a lot, you can save what looks like you're saving about $15 here. Now, what we do suggest is we actually suggest that you only spend $60 when you play this game and you earn everything in game. But if you're not going to do that, then what I would suggest is you play the CCU game. I have a video available for that. If I remember, I'll drop it in the comments or something like that. But if you go check out our CCU guide, we got a basic CCU guide and an advanced CCU guide, and it'll tell you how to get these ships for much cheaper than $295. Both of them together for much cheaper than $295. At the same time, if you don't want to do all that, if you don't want to go through the hassle and you still want to save a little bit of money, that's when you would get things like this. You get the 2 paints. So it depends. How do you value these things, and what are you willing to do? If you're willing to work a little harder, you can save a little bit more money with the CCU game. If you're one of those people that's like, I don't want to do all that, then this is probably a good place to go for you. They're also cheaper ships. I generally don't recommend packs, but when they come with LTI and they're cheaper ships that you can always upgrade to something a little better, then I generally don't mind. And 150 is around the cutoff point for me as far as like packs I think that are okay for people to buy. But again, CCU game is better, so check those videos out. You have to be concierge to get this one. So this is the regular one. The regular one comes with 2 paints, so you're not missing out on that much. This one just comes with an extra paint. Concierge, if you spend $1,000 or more, that's why I have that little thing there. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. You probably shouldn't spend that much money on the game. Then there's the Red Festival Duo Pack. If you can get a cutter. Looks like a cutter, 2 skins, and a Cutlass Black. And 3 skins with this one, but see, 6-month insurance. We don't do that. We don't do that. Then there's the 400i, and we just look straight for the insurance. We don't do that. Then there's the Carrick. We already know what the insurance is going to be on that one. So not much in there. I think the only one that seems like it would be worth it to anybody is the Red Festival Industrial Ship Pack. I wish it came with a game package, though. That would make it even better. But it does not come with a game package. So game package sold separately. These are the actual official paints for this year. So these are ship packs. These are the festival paints. So here we have, are we at the beginning? Oh, we are at the beginning. So this is the complete pack. If you want to own every single skin that's available, you can get them all here. So this is the Fortune, Red Pig and Red Snake, Cutter, Red Pig and Red Snake, Cutlass Destiny, 100 series Red Dog and Red Dragon, 400i series Red Dog and Red Dragon, 600i series Red Dog and Red Dragon, X1 Red Dog and Red Dragon, C8 Red Rooster, Carrick Red Rooster, Constellation Red Monkey, Saber Red Monkey, Nomad Red Ram, and Freelancer Red Ram. $101, you're saving 40%. So if you have, these packs are good. You can't really save money on paints unless you get them in a pack. It's not like you can play the CCU game or anything like that. I generally don't suggest you buy this many paints. But if you're at the end game, I think it's okay. Like if you've already got most of the ships that you want and stuff like that. Here's the thing about buying paint packs, and maybe I should do a guide about buying paints. I don't know. But generally, I would say if you don't own at least 3 of these ships, at least 3, you shouldn't even be looking at it. And I don't even think you should be buying it unless you own at least 4. So Fortune, Cutter, 100i, 400i, 600i, X1, C8, Carrick, Constellation, Saber, Nomad, Freelancer. If you don't own at least 4 of those, I wouldn't even look at this pack. You shouldn't even be looking to buy this unless you own at least 4 of those. And if you own 5 of them, then that's where I start to think it's an okay deal for you, because even if you get some paints you don't like in there, you have them, you know. And if you end up buying one in game, you can apply it to the ones in game. So not that big a deal. Obviously, if you own all of these ships, then this is huge for you. If you own 5, it's a decent deal. If you own 6, it's a great deal. And if you own 6 and up, it's a great deal. And then they just have them separately. Yeah, so you save 25% here. So if you have, I'd say if you have, this is what, the Fortune, the Cutter, and the Cutlass. If you have those 3, then this is good for you. If you don't have all 3, it's probably not going to be a good deal. You're probably better off just getting the 2 separate. Well, they're $9, so you might as well get this because you're saving $9 here anyway. So the Fortune paint by itself, $7 for the Cutters, and that's it. That's all we got. Looks like it's the Fortune and the Cutlass, and the Red Pig, or I'm sorry, and the Cutter. Those are the ones that get the new paints. And then these are the paints that were available before. So these are the X1, the 100i, 400i, and 600i. This was available last year. And these are the Dog and the Dragon. I really like the Dragon paints, so I got those. Yeah, these are cool. It's red and gold. It's just a different look, I think. I think this is one of the best paints in the game, the red Saber paint. So if you don't have one of these, this is one of the very few paints that I would suggest any Saber owner purchase, because it looks awesome. It looks really good. So yeah, I would get that. Most people, I would sell to get that one specifically. All right, and then here's some subscriber stuff. So if you are a subscriber, you can get a Cutlass Blue plushie, Cutlass Red plushie, Cutlass Black plushie, Cutlass Steel plushie, Devastator Brimstone, Custodian Brimstone, S71 Bullseye, all red themed, of course, and then the Pyro RYT Bloodline Multi-Tool. And then there's some gear here. We got the Red Alert Weapons Armor collection, so you can get all of the armor collections. I generally don't suggest buying armor until they figure out, or at least until they tell us what their plan is as far as insurance on those things. I know they said that we'll get insurance. I just don't know what that looks like yet, so I can't invest in armors until I know that. Also, with the change in how the armors are going to apply to your character and how they're going to have different stats and everything, I really can't buy armors because I don't know if these will have any of those stats, or if they'll fit into any of those categories, or if they'll just be outside of that. But yeah, if you do like armors, I mean, some people, it's just the aesthetic that they want. So if you just want the aesthetic, then I totally get that. The Morozov is your more heavy armor. Then you got, I think, kind of your medium armor here. Maybe this is heavy armor too. I don't know. I think this is more medium though. I think what's the Queerness is the light armor. I think the Gray Cat is still medium armor. You guys can correct me in the comments. And I think both of these are kind of your light armor, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and then there is a War Bond upgrade. There's actually 3 of them, so they're very not great upgrades. You got the Cutlass Black, I think it's $5 and you get 10. And then there's the Ballista, which is $5 and you get 10. And then, oh, it's the Fortune, yeah. So that one is $5 and you get 15. So yeah, those are the 3 CCUs. They're not great CCUs. I think they're really like if you need one in a pinch type of CCUs. Now, me personally, I buy at least one of every CCU because I have been in a pinch where I needed that $5 CCU and I did not have it. So yeah, I buy one of each, and it's to me, it's like if I don't need it, I can melt it. You know, if I don't use it within a year, I can just melt it. And I'm getting to the end of my ship buying, purchasing era anyway, so I mostly will be melting a lot of these things. I got at least like $400 worth of CCUs sitting, but a lot of those are being well, no, I got 600 if you include the ones that haven't been applied yet. So yeah, I buy one of each. So if you're like me and you buy one of each regardless of how much they save, then there you go. All right, let's get to these ships. So we're not going to do obviously full reviews on these. We're just going to talk really quickly about who should buy them and stuff like that, because there's 25 of them and this video is already hitting the 20-minute mark. So we're gonna try to fly through these a little bit. So 100i. To me, it doesn't really make sense at this cost, because you can get the 300i for pretty similar pricing. I mean, within $10, $15, sometimes the same price. So the 100i is one of those that just doesn't make sense to me at all. I wish it did. I wish they had some major differentiating factor. But the only thing I can think of is that I believe you can spawn the 100i on the very small garage ship pads. So if you need to do that all the time, then I can understand why you would get a 100i instead of a 300, but you're still wasting money because the 300 series is just better. Now, these are smaller, of course, but yeah, again, 300i series, better. Moving on, 400i. The 400i was recently, I don't know if you can call it nerfed, but it definitely did not reach the heights that I thought it would. I feel like there's somebody at CIG that does not like the 400i, or maybe they don't like Origin, but I specifically think they don't like the 400i because I feel like it is missing things that could make it much better for the price of $250. Right now, I've done videos of this flip-flopping back and forth. Originally, I thought the MSR was better, and then the 400i. When it came out the gate after a certain meta, it looked like it was doing better than the MSR. So then I start looking at the stats, and the stats would lead me to say that the 400i is better. And then they changed the stats. This is why you don't follow the meta. And so now I think the MSR is the better of the two. And I don't think it'll change back the other way anytime soon, at least. So I would, if it was me, this is what I would do. The 400i is good because it has cold storage, or temperature controlled storage. I won't say cold storage. It has temperature controlled storage. It can fit one of the X1 bikes inside of it, and because it has decent guns on it, and it's pretty good flight in atmosphere. So if you need those specific things and all of those specific things, I mean all of them. If you don't need all of them, then I would say get the MSR. But if you need all of those things, if you have an X1, if you need a good flight in atmosphere, if you know you're going to be fighting in this thing, then get the 400i. I do personally like the look of the 400i. It reminds me of the Mighty Ducks, some reason. So yeah, it looks like a flying duck to me a little bit. I like that look the same way I like the 890 jumps look for that same kind of reason. But yeah, to me, buy the ship that's fun for you. But I still say you really don't need to spend the money. You could just save all your money, earn all the ships in game. I don't know if I've been saying that enough, because people are trying to hammer me in the comments that like I don't say that in all my ship reviews, but it's all good. And we will have a ship review coming for the Misfortune. We'll try to get it out this week. We'll try to get it out by Friday. That shouldn't be too hard, because it mostly does what the Vulture does. So yeah, we just have to fly it and use it. So 600i Explorer. This is one of my favorite ships, but I'm a little biased because I think that this ship, when it gets its rework, is going to be one of the better ships in the game, as in like top 10 ships in the game. But we'll see. We'll see. The rework is what this ship counts on, because as it stands, it's okay for a ship. The interior isn't very useful. It's not great as an exploration ship, but exploration gameplay isn't really in the game yet, so that doesn't really matter much. But it does have some decent guns on it. If you want to go out and fight and do I've done all the way up to HRTs with it. I think you could even do further than that if you're a better pilot than me, because I'm not that great. But the 600i is to me a good ship. And if you go and look at the rework, and I did a review on the 600i, if you go look at that, I talked about the rework. And I also talked about the rework in my 400i versus, or no, was it that? No, 600i versus MSR. I did a 600i versus the MSR video. And yeah, I talked about the rework in that one too. So it's gonna be able to put a tank on it, like it'll be able to fit a tank on it and carry a tank with it, which I think is really cool, because most ships cannot carry a tank. So that's really cool for this ship to be able to do that. It's gonna get expanded amount of cargo. It's gonna be reworked on the interior. It's gonna get a med bed. It's gonna get a lot of things that it needs and actually to be a really good ship. So shout out to the 600i Explorers. I do like this ship. It's a purchase for me. I have one in the fleet. The C8X, which is one of the better versions of the Pisces, probably the second best version. It's the one that actually is capable of fighting. Would I buy one? No, I would get the Expedition Carrack, and then one comes with it for free, so I wouldn't purchase one. At the same time, there are this ship is one of those that if you have a Pisces already, and you want to upgrade it, if you're paid for a Pisces already, you can upgrade it to this, just and try it out. You can always rent this as well. But yeah, to me it's a skip, but it's the ship that comes with another ship, so they have to fly it, or they have to sell it, so that if other people want to replace whatever theirs is, which is the base C8 comes with the Carrack, and the C8R, of course, to me is the best version of this. So I think everybody should go and get a C8R, unless you specifically don't care about medical gameplay. But to me, I'm not going to go out and fight anything in a C8X. If I wanted to fight, I would probably go and get an Archimedes. I would go and get a Razor EX. I would go and get a Fury. Those are going to be much better fighting ships than this. P-72 Archimedes, all those ships. All those ships are going to be better fighters than this, which is why I would say I wouldn't get this unless you specifically have that Carrack Expedition. Speaking of which, the Carrack. The Carrack's expensive right now, but now it can carry cargo, so it does have a use case. And if you open up this little bay right here, you know, little Billionaire ninja secret, I guess it's not a secret, but a lot of people know about it. You open up this here, you can drop a ton of cargo on the top if you don't have one of these C8s up there, of course. Yeah, so you can fit a ton of cargo on the Carrack, so it is a pretty decent cargo ship. Just remember, you're gonna have a pretty decent, weird time trying to get that out of there if you're trying to deliver it somewhere. But you can store it. You can put it in there. So it's better for pirates that way. But the ship isn't very good at combat. So just beware that if you're trying to pirate in a Carrack, you're going to have a bad time. Right now, it's really good at cargo, and that's probably going to be about it. It is going to be one of the best exploration ships in the game when it comes live. But this ship was at some point available for, I think, $325, maybe even $225. It was something crazy like that. It was a very cheap ship at some point. It was below $350 at some point. And as you can see now, it is a $600 ship. So it has went up massively in price. And it could probably go up again once exploration gameplay comes in. So it's very possible that it'll go up again, but at $600, I'd say it's about at its value. You know, you get what you pay for with the Carrack, but that's about all I will say about that. The Constellation Andromeda, it's a really, really good ship. It's because it's a gunship, but it's also a decent cargo ship because it can carry 96 SCU of cargo. It's one of the better ships in the game, if you ask me. I think the entire Constellation series, no matter which one you get, you're gonna find a really good use case for it because it's gonna come with something that's amazing or it will be amazing. So the Constellation Andromeda is the gunship of the bunch, and because it has a metric ton of missiles, I think it has 50 something missiles on it. And with all of those missiles, you can guarantee that you're gonna make somebody very angry when you start shooting them at them. Not to mention it has 4 size 4 weapon or 4 size 5 weapons on it. I know a lot of people are scared that they're gonna nerf that, but just remember that the Constellation Andromeda and all of the Connies, they have to turn to put those guns where they need to be. So, you know, just remember that part, and I think you'll start to understand why they won't necessarily nerf those guns because they don't really need to. And so yeah, the Constellation Andromeda, a really good ship. It's the gunship variant if you're looking for a Constellation. I do think this is one of the better ships in the game to purchase with real money. The Constellation Aquila. So what I didn't mention about the Andromeda is it also comes with a P-52 Archimedes in the back. And that's one of the good reasons to get it. What I would like to mention about the Aquila is it comes with that same P-52 and it comes with an Ursa rover. So there's your value if you're looking for the difference, right? So this is about $50. This is about, yeah, it's about $65 more. So there's your Ursa rover cost there. And it has it has exploration capabilities, so that's what you're also paying for, the exploration capabilities. It also has a different cockpit here, a more rounded cockpit. I wish they could do something about these struts, make them a little thinner. I don't need them to disappear, just make them thinner or make them see-through, you know, just me. But yeah, I like the Constellation Aquila. It just depends on what you need out of a Connie. If you're trying to fill an exploration, area, but you also want that explorer to be able to fight, and you know that you're going to mostly be taking vehicles with you, and you know you're going to have a full crew, especially somebody to pop into that P-52 and fly out and help you fight. Then the Aquila is the best constellation for that, in my opinion. Now, it depends on what you need, of course. Like I said, if you're just looking to fight, you get the Andromeda. But if you're looking to explore and expand the role of what your Connie can do, then I think the Aquila is the best. And that's why it's the most expensive. Now, the Taurus. This is one of the best ships in the game. It's really good because it's really cheap for what you get. You get 4 size 5 weapons, so you can really fight in this thing. You can haul 200 plus SC, or what is it? I think it's 174 SCU of cargo. You could probably fit a little bit more in there if you try hard enough. And then, of course, it has a tractor beam, and it's a good looking ship. I think this is one of the best looking Connies of all of them. Now, you could argue and say this is the best Connie because of how cheap it is. I would say it's the best value for sure. It's an entry level, it's the entry level Connie, but I still think it's probably the best one. If you don't need all the stuff that the other ones offer, it still has missile loadout. And yeah, it's just an overall great ship. It's one of the few ships that I say if you're gonna spend more than $60, which you shouldn't, but if you do, it's one of the first ships that I would say that you should get. I did do a best fleet, best how to build a fleet video and all of that stuff, so go check out the channel if you haven't seen it. Cutlass Black, one of the best ships in the game. I know I just said that a bunch of times, but trust me, we are getting to the duds. The Cutlass Black, again, it's the same. It's good for the same reasons that the Taurus is good for. It is a value option. It's a really good value for what you get. You can carry 46 SCU of cargo. It opens up multi-crew gameplay because it has multiple beds in it, and it has some decent sized guns on it, and it's decent in a fight. It's got decent speed. It's got a lot going for it. So yeah, I think this is one of the good ships. You know, if the $200 mark is a little bit too expensive for you and you're looking to spend more than that $60 I told you should spend, then you get the Cutlass Black. All right, the Cutlass Blue. Now, this one is essentially the same ship, except this one has a quantum dampener. So this keeps people from being able to escape into quantum while you're around them. So that's the idea of the Blue. It's a interdiction ship. It's going to get people disabled so that they can bounty hunt you and take you off your ship, put you in the prisoner pods that it has, and be off with it. And it's also a lot faster than the base Cutlass Black because it is meant to chase you down. So there you have it, the Cutlass Blue. It's for the people who like to bounty hunt. There are better bounty hunting ships. In fact, I think you can get the Zeus MR for about $15 more than this, and I think the Zeus MR is going to be the better ship. However, the Zeus MR is not currently released, so you would be waiting for that one. The Cutlass Red. Now, a lot of people love the Cutlass Red. It's cheaper, if I'm not mistaken, than the Cutlass Blue. Yes, it is. It's cheaper by 40 bucks than the Cutlass Blue. Now, the Cutlass Red is the other. I like all of the Cutlass, but I think the Cutlass Red right now is very meta because you can respawn into the size 3 beds that it has. It has 2 size 3 beds, not to mention it has 4 beds for people to sit in. It's still the multi-role gameplay. You lose that turret up top, so it doesn't have as much firepower, but that's not really what you get this for. You get this because you can respawn from a bunker, and you can respawn in your ship, and you can sleep in the ship. So right now, that is a really good thing to have in your ship, which makes you not need to carry along an Ursa medevac, which allows a lot of other ships that don't have med beds to respawn. So I think it's a really good ship at 135. I think it's worth the money that people spend on it. However, I do think that's only in the current meta. I do think I think it'll maintain its value. I just don't think it'll grow in value, and it might even shrink in value a little bit once actual medical gameplay comes online. But we'll see. We'll see. We don't know what that looks like yet. The Cutlass Steel is a no. I do that every time. I have to. The Cutlass Steel, they're trying to make it better. I will say that. The Cutlass Steel, to me, is a little overpriced for what it gives you. It should have been $200, and then I don't think a lot of people would have complained. But the guns on it aren't big enough. The health pool for it wasn't big enough. I think it's a little better now. But yeah, there's just, if you're spending over $200 for a drop ship, you probably should be looking at a Valkyrie, and if you can't afford a Valkyrie, you probably shouldn't be buying a drop ship because the Valkyrie is going to be better in almost every single way than the Cutlass Steel. It is more expensive. It's about $140 more, but again, if you can't afford that, you probably shouldn't be buying a drop ship. There's smaller drop ships that you could probably get, and again, I still wouldn't get those because I don't think you should get those. Unless you can afford a Valkyrie, you probably aren't the one that should be getting a dropship. You should just probably purchase one in game. And the Cutlass still hasn't earned what it's supposed to yet. But I will say this, if you are doing a ground assault, and you know that's the primary thing that you will be doing, this is the middle of the road dropship for that. However, again, I still think you should get a Valkyrie. Good token though. It helps you fill out a lot of CCUs. The Drake Cutter. So the starter ship, that almost ruined the game for the Avenger Titan. When this ship came out at $45, it was a legitimate choice difference between this and the Avenger Titan. Now, the Avenger Titan has since been upgraded to be really, really good. It's very fast. It can shoot. It can dogfight. It's got really good guns. It's got a decent amount of cargo. It's got a bed. The cutter is $20 cheaper though, and to some people, money talks, and that's what it is. And the cutter is a really good starter ship. You can put a very small vehicle on it, which makes it a very viable starter ship. You can put a little bit of cargo on it. And then they have the variant here, the Cutter Rambler, and the other variant, the Cutter Scout. Now, the Cutter Scout is very specific. You get the Cutter Scout if you are looking for the cheapest scout ship possible, and you know you want to do a little bit of exploration, because notice it says explorations, recon, and intel. So it is a decent little exploration ship because of its ability to scan. Now, I don't think it's a great option, because if you need to scan, you probably should be spending a little bit more than that. If you're in the $50 range and you're just adding, you need this ability, but you know you won't need it that much, then this is what you get. But if this is your only ship or one of your only ships, like one of two, one of three, then I probably wouldn't get that. You would probably be better off with the Rambler. This one does exploration better, and this is the one that's the long distance one. So I think this is the better one to get. It's got the slightly upgraded weapons on it as well. So $50, you're not really wasting any money if you go ahead and get this. But I still think the Avenger Titan is the king. So if you're willing to spend the extra, $10? I think it's $10 more at $60. I think you'd be much more happy with that one. The Misk Fortune. I haven't flown it yet. I can't tell you a whole lot about it. All I've done is read up on it. But from what I've seen, and I got to look at the Q&A and everything, but it seems fairly simple. If you don't want the Drake Vulture, you get the Misk Fortune. They are both single-seater salvagers, and the idea for this one is more efficient than the Vulture. It can carry the same amount as the Drake Vulture, and not to mention, it is more efficient. So that's the idea of it. You don't have to get out of the seat as much, and everything just kind of loads up the way it's supposed to, directly from the one scraper that it has, whereas the Vulture has two scrapers, but you have to get out of that seat to go make everything work. So you could say it's more efficient as far as not getting out of your seat, but less efficient in the actual scraping part. So yeah, that's kind of what you're working with here. To me, you can get it for $160 if you want to get the LTI on it. Of course, you could play the CCU game, and you could try to get it for cheaper than that. But $160, not a bad price. $175. I think I probably would have priced this one cheaper than the Vulture. I probably would have put it at $170, just because I do think the Vulture is superior, just from what I've seen so far. But I do like the look of it. It's not very often that I like the look of a Misk ship, and this one I like the look of. And it's odd because I don't particularly like the look of the one that it's based on, which is the Prospector. But I just think this one looks better. It reduced the things about the Prospector that I didn't like to make it look a little bit better. So I do like the looks of it. I wonder about why we got this so early. Like I said earlier, I think it was an onboarding project. I don't have any source for that though. So that's what I just think. But yeah, if you're looking for a salvage ship that is a little bit less of a hassle to run, I would say get the Fortune. But if you're looking for a salvage ship that's probably going to be a little more involved and include a little bit more gameplay, then I would go ahead and get the Vulture. Either way, you're going to be making some decent money because salvage gameplay is good. Now, I could see people getting the Fortune because they might want to just do those really quick runs and make some really quick money and not really care about all the other stuff. But if you actually enjoy the fun, the gameplay part of the salvage, then you got to get the Vulture for that. The Freelancer, to me, is It needs massive updates before I could tell anybody to get it. It just needs a little bit more. I know there's some people out there who are like, they love it, but to me, it's still missing things that it requires. I did a review on it, so go check that out. I won't talk too much about it, but I think the Freelancer, I think it's A, overpriced, and B, it doesn't do enough for what you get. The Freelancer Max, however, I do think is the one you get. So if you're looking for a freelancer and you specifically are looking for a freelancer and the amount of cargo that carries, this one's good because it can carry an Ursa rover, and of course, it has a decent amount of beds in it too, which I love. That's one thing I do like about the Freelancer. It always has a decent amount of beds. So I will say this about the Freelancer Max though. I do think there are better ships out there, but I think the Zeus is the one that most people would bring up, and I would say it depends on what you need it for. But yeah, the Freelancer Max, solid ship if you need to take a ship. If you know you're gonna have to carry around an Ursa. If you don't have an Ursa, there's probably better ships. If you have a vehicle smaller than an Ursa at least, then there's probably better ships out there for you. The Freelancer Miz. So I wish this one had slightly better weapons, and then it would be worth 175. But at this price, I can't justify a Freelancer Miz. Again, I did a review on it, so if you want a little bit more details about it, but it's a no for me. The Nomad. Now, I have grown to like this ship more and more. I still think it needs some interior updates. They haven't really worked a lot on Consolidated Outland's interior spaces. So I'm hoping with the work on the Pioneer that the Nomad also gets an upgrade once they define what the interior is supposed to look like for the Pioneer. So they kind of already know what that is. So I'm hoping that they just start to switch out some of the stuff in the Nomad and make it look a little better on the inside. But I know a lot of people think of this as the space truck because it does have that big cargo space on the back, and it's fairly cheap. It is a good starter. To me, I would rather get an Avenger Titan. I think you can do a little bit more. I think the dogfighting capability of the Titan is what wins it for me. However, the Nomad is the better cargo ship. So if you are looking for a better cargo ship, you got to pay $20 for it. My only thing is, I would say, if you're looking for a better cargo ship than the Avenger Titan, I would probably say you're better off just jumping up to the Cutlass Black. If in that case, it's going to be $50 more than the Avenger Titan, but at least then you're not suffering from a lack of firepower, because you see that there, not enough. But it does have a really cool feature where it doesn't actually land on the ground. It kind of hovers above because it uses Xi'an tech. So really, really cool ship. I like the ship. And yeah, I just think it needs a little bit more, I think, for me to say it's worth $80. One cool thing about the Nomad though is not only does it have that thing on the back, but one of these cool things about it is if you get the 2950 upgrade to this, it can actually add LTI to a pack that does not have LTI. And there's a really weird way that works, but if you happen to get one, look that up. It's really cool. Only the Nomad can do that. And it's got to be that very specific one. The Saber, it still needs some work to get where it needs to be. I know a lot of people like this ship, but it needs to be balanced, and that's the biggest problem with it. At 175, there's not a lot of great fighters. There's not a lot of people who are great fighters that are using the Saber as their primary vehicle. But you can get it done in any vehicle or in any ship if you're a good enough pilot. So that's what I'll say. It is supposed to be a stealth fighter, so there you have it if you're looking for that. And it looks really cool too. The Saber Firebird, the unsung hero of the Sabers. I know a lot of people don't like this ship because a lot of people don't like to use missiles, and missiles are also kind of broken right now. They're broken in the bad way, not the good way, where they don't do enough damage and they're not balanced correctly. So to me, I think the Saber Firebird is a great ship for sneaking up on people, doing a lot of damage before they have the chance to respond, and then going in and finishing them off with the size 3s. Yeah, to me, it's a good ship. I can't wait to put one in my fleet. I had one in my fleet for a very long time, and then I had to get rid of it because Yeah, there were just other things that I had to get, and the Saber Firebird I couldn't justify it anymore. I'm hoping at some point to be able to fit it back in the fleet somehow, but right now, it's not rare enough for me to want to buy it outright. So yeah, I'll have to earn it in game. Right now, I was thinking of getting another one, and then I heard that the Super Hornet was coming out, and they have a version of the Super Hornet that I really, really want. So I'm looking forward to that instead. But the Saber Firebird, I still think, I know there's a lot of people who, even though I know there's a lot of people who don't like it, I know there's a nice little group of you who understand the value of this ship, and is the fact that it is extremely stealthy. It doesn't even say it up here, but it is a very stealthy ship, one of the most stealthy ships in the game. So your ability to sneak up on people and launch 6 missiles at them is really cool. So I'll leave that there. This video is longer than I anticipated, but we're almost done because I don't have a lot to say about the next few. The Saber Peregrine, to me, the Saber Peregrine needs a little bit extra for me to purchase one, because at 185 and all it can do is race, I'm sorry, I just can't do it there. I would rather have a Razor. I'd rather have a Razor EX. The Razor EX is fast and it can fight. And it's stealthy. I just don't understand why I would get a Saber Peregrine for $30 more than that ship, and it can't do any of those other things. Maybe if they had more racers at this size category, it would make it a little bit more understandable. But I get it. Some people just want a pure racer with nothing else, and I think because at the time, around the time this was launching, Atmo Esports was growing in popularity, and of course they did the Atmo Esports event after CitizenCon last year, which I went to. It was, yeah, I think that's more so why we got it, and I get it. You know, I'm not complaining that it exists. I just wish it had a secondary purpose. All you got to do is throw some stealth plating on it, and I like it. I'm just telling you, it just needs one thing. And I told Ben Curtis this, and he looked at me like I was crazy, but it's okay. I told Ben Curtis at CitizenCon, just give it one thing. And he was like, he was so mad that I didn't like it. But it's okay, Ben, you do a good job all the time. The Star Lancer attack, one of my favorite ships that has ever existed in Star Citizen. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just give it some extra scanning ability. Give it some, I don't know, give it a really good gas tank. Make it go very, very far. I could even deal with that, because then at least I can use it as a point A to B ship and go like all the way around and just travel with it. Give it something. All right. Then the X1, which is immediately done away with because of the X1 Force. So the X1 Force to me is, I have 5 vehicles that I say are worthy of actually purchasing with real money, and the X1 Force is one of them because it's the only one with a shield. Now, a lot of people disagree with that, and they have a good reason, and it's because it wasn't the only one with the real shield. It became the only one with the real shield, and that's because they changed the game to make it so. But the X1 is really good if you don't have any need for a ship with a shield. If you just really want to fly around on it, the X1 is going to be slightly faster, but really you should be getting the X1 Velocity because that one's going to be the fastest. The real reason to get these is they're a little bit tougher than some of the other ships that go fast, like the Nox. So the Nox, I think, is the fastest hover bike that you can get. But the X1 is still a solid vehicle, especially if you like that white skin. This skin is a little bit more of an acquired taste, but of course, it's Red Festival. You can get all these skins, right? So yeah, I like the X1 Force. I think it's one of the vehicles that, if you're gonna buy a vehicle, it's one of the ones you should own. If you're gonna buy 5, you know, this is probably the last one you should purchase out of those 5. But yeah, slap a shotgun on the front of this and go do a bunker mission and just have a lot of fun. Yeah, and same thing, you do the same thing here, except you just won't be as protected because you don't have the shield on this one. That's why I think the Force is the one to get. All right, and that is it for Red Festival 2955. I am Billionaire Ninjas, and I am starting 2 more channels, so be on the lookout for those. But if you haven't, make sure you like, subscribe, or you can dislike, that's fine, like or dislike, and leave a comment, and make sure you qualify for that Misc Fortune that we're going to give away this month. So That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks to the members. Thanks to the subscribers. Thanks to everybody who watched. Peace.